Okay, so to handle some objection from the start, let's talk about the title of this video, which is how I made over 80,000 monthly recurring revenue only posting 1 hour a day. Now, for a lot of people, it kind of just sets off the alarm bells. If this is real or is a scam, how do I do that? And to be honest with you, I'm not really a content creator. I'm not a writer. I speak 4 languages, so probably not of them well, but I've learned how to keep people interested with content. Now, the average coach probably earns around $40,000 a year, give or take. I guess you can Google it and you'll find out, but it's kind of a crazy concept. Now, with this video, I'm not going to go straight into details and everything that I do on a daily basis, but I just want to take you through a very simple process, okay? I write an email a day, and then I repurpose that email into all my different social media platforms. It literally takes me an hour. I wake up in the morning, I write an email, and then I send it out to my newsletter subscribers, and then I literally cut and paste the content. I don't really know where my ideal client lives. It could be inside X, it could be inside Threads, it could be YouTube, it could be Facebook. There's so many different social media platforms, and for me to kind of just do one social media post and then hoping for the best, it's a little bit uncertain. So I really need to find out, where do my buyers live? Now, it's a crazy concept if you think about it, because I feel a lot of people don't really understand content as such. They tend to post value posts and no one really engages with them, meaning you need to be able to sell your story, your ideas, your insights, your philosophy, because the high ticket buyers tend to really invest in people that have ideas and philosophy. They're leaders. They don't really invest in people that post vague social posts. You're going to get a lot of likes and comments, but it's not going to get you any clients. Again, I'm not going to go exactly into details. If you're inside my free community, Content to Clients, you can see probably about 15, 16 masterminds that talk everything between content creation, email, how to grow your email list, how to create irresistible offers. It's all in there. But today I really want to talk a little bit about that. It's really overwhelming for most people. So let's get started and see where this is taking you, okay? So I started every single business imaginable, and I'm talking about drop shipping, Facebook ad agency, SEO, content agency. Then I eventually moved into done for you services for virtual events. And along with those, I also learned that I didn't need a large sales team, that, kind of taking away my margins and managing them. Like I literally was putting fires 24/7, not knowing what was going to be the next problem. And I've been trying to make the business work and scale big, but I tried for so long that I just didn't get it. I didn't really understand. I thought everybody needs to have a big team, a large agency to get to 6-7 figures. And then I actually understood that information wasn't necessarily correct. It kind of required endless hours of work. Then I got hacked and I lost all my followers, all my email subscribers. Literally I felt like curling up and giving up. And as I studied more and I learned more about the content in general, certain things started to shift for me. Okay, it started with a newsletter. I added a link to my newsletter to all my buyers, and I invited people to join my email list and posted my ideas and insight to get them curious so they would subscribe. Clearly, they have a problem, they give you an email, and therefore you're there to provide them a solution. And that's really important. You need to understand the difference between content and posting 24/7 and building an email list. You probably heard this before. Email is the only thing we own, and something could be taken away from you, and you have to start all over again. So if we reflect on all the businesses that were extremely exhausting for me, I was managing a large team and I was posting random content. And why the one team philosophy finally worked in a sense, and why it started to work even more, is because of one missing piece. I learned so many skills and all those things started to accumulate in my mind. Like, okay, I get it. I understand the big picture of how to run a business, but there was something missing the entire time. And what was it? For me, it was about writing. Now, that might throw some people off. Claudia, why writing? How is that a missing piece? Well, if you want to build your own thing, you are creative, you have a story to tell, you have skills, you have an expertise that you want to share. You want to build an independent income source. That's the first rule. And you need attention, right? You need somebody to capture whatever it is that you're saying or doing. So how are you going to get any eyes or insight or ideas? Good question. How can you have that in place when no one's really noticing your content? So with that, where do you go? You go to social media. And why social media? You can just do paid ads or SEO or all those fancy things. But I assume you're here because you don't have a large budget to spend on ads. And ads sometimes can be a little bit funky, getting a whole bunch of cold leads that don't really know who you are. And it's super difficult sometimes to get them to listen to you, okay? So social media and organic content is where the attention is, right? Because you are the leader, so why social media? One, all of the intention is there. It's accessible. And it's for free. It's a skill that you can learn. So why writing? Writing is also free. Writing is also accessible. You have Twitter, you have LinkedIn, you have Instagram, Facebook, Threads, where you can post writing as an image. And, you can kind of get people paying notice. The list goes on. And so writing is how I personally outperform a lot of the people that are posting. Like a lot of my posts get DMs every day because I understand the power of ideas. And what we're going to talk about next now is how to write 1 hour a day, because that's what I do on a daily basis every morning. Now, so adding nuance to the title of this video, I say I write for 1 hour a day to make as much as I did. But that's just the writing. There are other things you need to understand, but let's just focus on the writing part of it for now. Now, how do you get attention on your work and to understand my system, the things that I do every single morning? So if you want to try to replicate or experiment with it, you can. If you prefer to attend my workshop, I'll provide the link below. I'm actually doing one next week. I think it's on the 12th of February. Where I will explain how to get people interested in your offer or services by writing content that attracts private jet people. So step one is to choose a topic that you can't shut up about it. So write down your ideas, your insight, your story, your philosophy. You're good at writing is about telling people that you are different to the masses. So once you have that, step number 2 is to take your audience to a unique perspective. This is extremely important because most people on social media are just search engines with a profile picture. Nobody actually cares about them or their ideas because they all sound the same. They're just talking about what everybody else is doing, and that does not give you a personality or an aura or a sense that you're some kind of a leader with a story to tell. You don't have that uniqueness. So the solution is a unique or novel perspective. Why? Because insight and ideas catches attentions, and attention is necessary for people to read what you write. Your story and insight perspective are how you get people attention while talking about whatever it is that you want. So how do you come up with a novel perspective? You have your topic. Now we're going to brain dump a couple of ideas. You're going to talk about real problems associated with the topic or pain points, benefits to overcome those, and personal experiences you have had. So now with that written out, you have your topic, and then you write out each of those things, okay? You have a problem, you have a solution, you have the benefits, and you have step-by-step action plan in between. That's how you have your unique perspective on a topic. There it is. Of course, more things you can do, but as I say, this isn't a full guide. Now, understand this, that every piece of content should or is based around a personal or professional problem or pain point in general. So how do you structure what you're writing first? You paint a picture of the problem and how it affects someone's life. Second, you talk about your personal experiences with it, of course, so readers can relate to it. Third is an optional step, so you can give context and definition to things that might not make sense. And then step 4 is give step-by-step advice on how to solve that particular problem. So you start with your pain point, just state the pain point, then you amplify that problem a little bit more. You talk about how it impacts their life and what it can lead to if they don't solve the pain point. And then after that, or during that, you can include a personal experience. So when did you face that problem? So literally, you're actually talking about your own experiences, something that you did and you kind of transition into a better way. You know, they don't know what they don't know. So when you're currently posting some stuff, they might think that what they're doing is probably the best way, but in reality, there is a better way. And that better way is usually you. So think about what was your mindset, what didn't work when you were trying to solve it. Ask a few questions to yourself about that moment in your life. And then if there are any concepts or ideas that people might not understand, you need to make it accessible to someone who doesn't know what you're talking about. Now, the next step is to get people to sign up to your newsletter software. I use GoHighLevel. You might use something else. There's so many different platforms where you can just build a simple little landing page, because this is an important part of my process, is having a newsletter that is both available online, that you can send people and to promote to. And funny enough, sell to without relying so much on a social media platform. The newsletter functions so you can get subscribers and send it to those people where you can invite them to your workshop or simply sell most of my program and services through my newsletter. If you think about it, 60% of my sales come through the newsletter, 20% through workshops, and the other 20% through just content. Now, why a newsletter? We don't own any social media platforms. I'm sure you've heard that before. Everything could be taken away from you to the point where your social media could be taken away. You literally have to start from zero, okay? So think about that, because email is the only thing we will ever own. And that's where you build your audience. You need that. And to double down, long-form content is very important also. Somebody asked me the other day, oh my God, does anybody read long-term content? Of course they do. This is where most people get educated. Short-form content, it's fun, it's easy, it's intriguing, but it doesn't really transform people's lives, okay? You're not building much reputation or authority with short stuff. You need both short form and long form, post, a newsletter, blog, YouTube video, etc. So my content ecosystem, I don't really use sales funnels. Like, yeah, I have landing pages and other things, but I don't really use sales funnels or those kind of things. I use content. So I send an email a day, and I also have a series of emails that I send out to everyone that subscribe to my newsletter. So people read your content and also buy from you, because I'm assuming that the links to your products or services are in there, inside your newsletter, right? So not only are you getting newsletter subscribers by doing that, but you're also getting people to your product or services. And that's how you make sales without actually promoting anything on social media. You don't need to rely on social media like your life depends on it. You can literally just write content that gets people to sign up to your newsletter. And of course, that's how you build your email list. But the other important point is that a newsletter isn't just a newsletter. If you have 0 email list subscribers, it doesn't matter, because the more newsletter you write, the more sales you can make without relying on social posts. I think I mentioned that before. But be mindful that the email that you wrote can be shared across all your social media. So that's kind of step 5. It's just repurposing the newsletter that you write. Those 1,000 words that you just wrote and sent to your email list, even if you don't have subscribers and have backlog on your blog so people can find it later, and you're turning into a YouTube and everything else, you break that down into a thread and post. And I don't base all of my posts on tweets or threads. I sometimes write those so they come to mind. I don't really kind of plan things in advance. I usually write one a day when I feel that I have to say something. Now, and then the rest of it just like from what I read. I think of social media as like my public note-taking system, where I just post the ideas that I'm learning about and like in my own words, and I position it to as my own idea or my own advice. So you have the content side of things now, but that's not the end of it all, okay? A lot of people stop there. They're like, I'm posting content, but I'm not growing on social media. Isn't the algorithm supposed to take me everywhere? And no, not in the slightest. Posting content is like the bare minimum. That's like you just have to do that. The next thing is you need to learn how to network and actually grow on the platforms. Content itself is a skill and social media is a separate skill. You need to understand how to inject yourself into a tribe and make yourself known to get more eyes on your content. You need to learn how to attract the right buyers, and usually is done with insightful content or your ideas or your actual personal stories. How were you able to overcome certain things? And the point is that you're treating social media like a game that has specific rules and mechanisms. You need to learn also how to tell your story. You can go from 0 to literally 100,000 impressions at the click of a button. So your entire goal is to get someone to click that button. But the people with a lot of followers or a large audience that you want to get a hold of, you need to understand how to find the people on a private jet, how to reply to them, add value, make yourself know, DM them in a way that is social. If you sell something that feels like sleazy and salesy, you need to step away from that and sell your offer as an opportunity. Most people don't know how to treat social media these days, so that's a skill on its own. Another skill that you need to learn is being social in the digital world, social media. If you want somewhere to start with that, well, one, go to watch my mastermind inside my 6-figure high-ticket club on the non-needy network process. If you need somewhere to start, just start sending people compliments. Send them that post, link their own post to them in the DM and be like, hey, here's how this impacted me. This made a lot of sense when I read your post. Here's what I've done. Here's how I related to this. Yes, I faced this earlier. Start a conversation with a compliment and connect with another human being. That's like the best thing you can do, even if you're talking to someone in real life. Like pretend that you're talking to your best friend. That's just how social media works, and see where it goes from there. Some people might start liking or reposting your content. Your job is to just create a tribe. Make sure people know who you are. Most people are posting content, not getting anywhere, and nobody knows what they're doing. Now, something that will help you a lot with this, the next step is just creating and refining your own writing system. So mine is 1 hour a day. I structure the first 30 minutes of the morning with the outlining of writing my newsletter. Then I go into writing posts and cross-posting them everywhere. And once you get better at this, it takes a lot less time. That's all you need to do. Do that for a month when you're writing content, and I promise you, you will create good content. And if something isn't working, you change it. You experiment, and then eventually you have your own system and your own language about how to write good stuff. Now, the last step, or just a tip, is to start one platform. If you're just starting out, start one platform, because otherwise it will probably overwhelm you a little bit. On one platform, it's how you can write short forms, and then you can kind of turn them into a newsletter. Eventually, you can turn it into a YouTube video, whatever it might be. I recommend Twitter or LinkedIn or Threads. Those are like the writing platforms. Pair with a newsletter, because if you're a beginner, you're probably not going to create the best YouTube videos. You're not going to have the editing stuff down. You're not going to have the best camera and the best equipment. So start a newsletter. It's very accessible and it's for free. Now, it's the writer lifestyle. You wake up in the morning, you write for 30 minutes, you're good to go. I mean, longer than 30 minutes, but you get the point, because you don't want to split your attention too much. And there is a whole other strategy with this. If you grow on one platform, you focus all of your attention there, because growth is not just content growth, is building a tribe and getting people to share you, because you need eyeballs on your content in order to grow. As you're growing, you notice things, you notice content that has done well. This is working, this thing is not working. How can I post this better? You have like 5 posts that did really better than others. So you will probably understand how this works. It becomes almost second nature. That's the best time to go to a new. So you're kind of growing, you see people kind of posting and liking, and you can try, let's say, Instagram. Now you're talking your best content that brought in the most likes and followers, and only posting those ones on Instagram and repeating the growth process there, but faster. And then when you go onto the next platform, it's even faster. And then you go to the next platform and it's even faster. So this is what I'm talking about. And the cool thing about it all is that if you're just, writing when you decide to go on YouTube, because the writing becomes better and then you can start creating really more fancier stuff. YouTube is obviously where people come in to learn, information and transformation. So if you want to, you have this backlog of newsletters and you refine your ideas so much that your first video is a winner. It's good. And you just sit down and you have your newsletter open there, and then you're like, okay, read over a section, look at the camera, recite it, and off you go. You use your validated ideas, your best ideas to break into and grow on your platform fast, which with one of those hours a day of writing, and considering if you have a freelance product or a digital product or a service or a business, that's all traffic, that's all free traffic for the thing. So you make more revenue. In terms of what to actually do, here is a recap. You choose a topic, you have a unique perspective, you write 1,000 plus words, you post it to your newsletter and blog, you turn the actionable part into a post and share it across your platforms. So if the newsletter structure is a pain point and then step-by-step process, you take the step-by-step process, condense that into a bit more, create a new hook for it, and then let that run. Next thing is learning how to grow on social, because that's a separate skill altogether that you need to study. Then turn ideas, content, develop your own system, and then, of course, branch out to new platforms. Writing in general. Now, if you want a place for your writing, check my community, 6-Figure High Tickets Creators, which is a place where I teach office and content creation. If you want my system with example and frameworks on how to write the newsletter, how to write their content, etc., check out what it is that we do inside my community. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, let me know what you think about your own content and how you can possibly turn this better into your own community where people actually buy your product or services simply with one content a day. Thank you. Talk to you soon. Bye.